What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Second Street Marvel for the Morning Movie Chat. I hope you're all having a very good Monday. It's Monday, the 20th of January, 2020. So 1/20/2020. That's a lot of 20s. Anyway, I hope you're all having a very good day. Got a few things I want to get into and talk to you all about today. First, I want to say thank you all to everybody who is here on the live stream. It looks like we've got Vlad Riot, Fanjecture, I Am True Skills. Thank you all so much for being here. Vlad Riot says hello and hello to you. Fanjecture says um, Little Martin Luther King, little MLK morning chat. Good to see you're still coming on. Yeah, I mean it's a holiday and everything out there, But hey, that's absolutely no reason why we can't still do the live stream. Vlad Wright says I saw the MLK parade in Long Beach yesterday. Nice, nice. I'm not too far from Long Beach. I guess I probably could always go out for stuff like that. Wookiee Supremacy, thank you so much for being here. Brian Lawrence, thank you so much for being here as well. Now, I do have a few things that I want to talk about today, but the first thing I want to talk about right here off the top is Bad Boys for Life is out at movie theaters, and tomorrow I will have LB from the Lonely Banter here as a guest on the show, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this movie, about Bad Boys for Life. Now, I did get a chance to go see it on Saturday, and I got to tell you guys, it was a very good movie. I thought it was very good. Definitely the kind of movie, like, it doesn't seem like we get a whole lot of movies like this anymore out of, like, these action adventure type of, like, buddy cop movies. It just doesn't seem, it seems like we get less and less of them these days. And it's funny, I was sitting there at the theater watching it, kind of feeling the same way. But I should have a review dropping here on the channel a little bit later today for you guys to make sure that you come back and check that out. Again, very I don't know. I thought it was a good movie. It was well worth the $10 that I paid to see it. But that's guess I'm into those kind of movies anyway. But yeah, I thought it was pretty dang good. So the next thing, you know what? And I just realized, I think it looks like I forgot my water. Dang, I forgot my water. I'm gonna have to see if I can get one of the kids to bring it in here. Give me just a second, guys. I'll be like, I'm telling you, like, it'll be like 30 seconds, 30 seconds here, and enjoy some of this nice music, really. All right, and there we go. I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry. I need my water. I mean, I've got my coffee here, but I definitely need my water as well. Okay, so yes, like I said, make sure that you go out and watch Bad Boys for Life. I thought it was a very good movie if you're into those kinds of things. Now, there was a couple of things in it, like, I know these days a lot of people get kind of worked up about jokes being made about their race and everything like that. And well, the stuff that happens in this movie, it's just kind of stuff that I think happened in the Bad Boys movies in the first place. Yeah, there was a couple of jokes made about white people, but you know what? They weren't done in a tasteless fashion or anything. I thought it was pretty funny. Again, I mean, you got this movie has it has black people in it, and they're making jokes about white people. Oh my god. Oh my God, who would have thought? It's so funny because I think, back in the day, back in the 90s, back in the 2000s, like, nobody really complained about these things. I think that, but again, I think a lot of it is how jokes like that are handled within the context of movies. I think kind of makes a big difference for a lot of people as well. And some people don't really care. They just don't like seeing the jokes. They don't like, the humor and stuff like that. Hey, and I get that too. But again, yeah, Bad Boys for Life was definitely a good one. Like I said, that review will be dropping here on the channel later today, and tomorrow we will have LB here to talk a little bit more about that. So today what I want to talk about, though, is mostly some more MCU rumors going on out there, or just some MCU theories. I guess there was one rumor that has been coming up lately, and that's about this actor who is going to be in the Black Widow movie. And gosh, what is his name? OT Benel OT, I don't know. It says, but you can go to IMDb and you can check out who it is, but his name here is being called Mason, is what it says here in the credits on IMDb. And again, IMDb isn't really anything that's credible until like after the fact. Like up to at a point like this where the Black Widow movie is at, it's not really reliable for anything. I mean, it'd be reliable for telling us the title of the movie, who's directing it, who's writing it, and some of the stars in it. I mean, again, none of them are 100% confirmed that I know of. I mean, aside from, just kind of the ones that we already see in the trailers and stuff like that. Well, this guy, this OT Fabergale, I don't know. I'm mispronouncing his name. I'm sure. I feel bad about that. But it's being rumored that he is actually playing Taskmaster in this movie. And I think that just seems like pretty obvious if you look at the list of names who are there on the cast that are, somewhat rumored or even somewhat confirmed. It only seems kind of obvious that this guy to me, he stands out the most as who would be this Taskmaster character for the movie. And I mean, I don't know. To me, that's really no kind of mystery or anything like that. I'm not sure what what's so breaking news about that. Because I mean, I think we all kind of knew for a while that Taskmaster was going to be in here, and somebody had to play him, and it's probably going to be somebody that's somewhat, maybe a known name, that maybe not exactly a bigger name. So I think that was something kind of, I don't know, something kind of obvious I've seen little rumors floating out there about. But another one that I wanted to talk about is Ray Winstone. Okay, Ray Winstone is rumored to be in this movie. Again, nothing confirmed. I mean, he's listed on the IMDb credits, but as I said, that's not really anything for us to look at as solid evidence of anything for the most part. But Ray Winstone is very interesting because I think his character is going to end up being this General Dreykov. And in case you guys don't know who General Dreykov is, General Dreykov, he was actually mentioned clear back in Marvel's Avengers, the first Avengers movie that came out. Was that 2011, 2012? 2012, when the Battle of New York happened. It was actually mentioned there. Loki had mentioned General Dreykov to Natasha Romanoff while he was sitting there talking to her after he had been captured. When they were aboard the why all of a sudden did I forget the flying fortresses? You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, those. When he was sitting there talking to Natasha Romanoff, he had mentioned that when they were on helicarrier. There we go. When he was on the helicarrier, talking about her past, talking about Sao Paulo, talking about the hospital fire, talking about Dreykov's daughter. And the other day I was talking about this General Dreykov, and kind of what we got out of the Black Widow Prelude comic book. In here, General Thaddeus Ross is talking to Councilwoman Hawley about General Dreykov and the fact that he was in charge of the Red Room. And the Red Room is where Natasha Romanoff was trained to not only just like to be a spy, but to be her hand-to-hand combat and just everything, just basically the core of who she is as a spy was all done there with the Red Room training. And that was a big thing that he mentioned in there, was that this General Dreykov was in charge of the Red Room, and Madam B was the person actually in kind of overseeing the training of the pupils and things like that. So I'm almost pretty sure that this the Ray Winstone will be playing this General Dreykov. Now the thing is he had made mention of Dreykov's daughter. So who is Dreykov's daughter? That's what we don't seem to know here. And the thing I'm kind of wondering is, it kind of starts to make me wonder, is Yelena Belova, played by, what was her name? Florence, is it Florence Pugh? Is that who's playing her? In this movie? Yeah, Florence Pugh playing Yelena Belova. It makes me wonder if perhaps Yelena Belova was perhaps Dreykov's daughter, and maybe at some point, maybe this is when Black Widow had sort of kind of defected, maybe she was going after this girl to bring her into the Black Widow program, or maybe she helped her escape the Black Widow program and then eventually got found back out. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that down in the comments below. Because there has to be some sort of tie to it, you know what I mean? Like, he also makes mention in this Black Widow comic book that that the Red Room has pretty much been it's done. The Red Room is no more. That it's been shut down, which we can clearly see in this new movie, that they have Black Widow agents. They have Black Widow agents there. Um, right here is where they make mention of that. Um, right there in these particular panels. They're talking about General Dreykov. And then Thaddeus Ross, he goes on and says pretty much about how the Red Room is now shut down. So, he's saying at some point she attracted the attention of General Dreykov. He oversaw something called the Red Room, which was managed for him by someone known only as Madam B. And, and Councilwoman Holly is saying, the Red Room, I thought that was a story made up for some bestsellers or something. And, Thaddeus Ross says, oh no, it was real, although it doesn't exist anymore. And I find this to be, ridiculous, obviously, because we see more Black Widow agents being trained within the trailer. Now, also, something I had mentioned before was in the current run of the Web of Black Widow comic books, you can see that poster right there. What was going on in that story was there was actually a character out there who, and I don't want to ruin the book for you in case you want to read that, is there was a character out there that was actually trying to create a demand for the Red Room once again to bring it back. Because, it had been closed down and it had been shut down and everything. And this character was out there trying to basically frame Natasha and make her look bad for some of her past crimes. And, to get the attention on her, and also to get these other people that she had assassinated through, when she on her come up, to get those kind of people that were in charge, who had leveraged the power of the Red Room and Black Widow to do these things, to get gain a position of power, to get them paranoid enough to need the services of the Red Room once again. And I'm having a feeling that something very similar may be going on here as well. Let's see, we also got Tom's Comic Book Reviews has joined the chat, as well as Duda Reviews. Thank you so much for being here. So I think there's definitely some things going on here with the Red Room. Like I said, we learned through just Thaddeus Ross in this book that General Dreykov was in charge of the Red Room. I have a feeling Ray Winstone is going to be playing General Dreykov. I have a feeling O.T. Fabergel, I don't know how you say his name. And I feel bad about that because, he looks like a good-looking dude, and he looks like the kind of guy that might be, up for, putting on some weight and putting up in some time in the weight room to become the Taskmaster and become this badass that we're going to see on screen. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that down in the comments below. Fatal J, good morning. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're having a very good day. Now, one other thing before I move on to the next thing I wanted to talk about here with the Black Widow is all these live streams, guys, are being brought to you by my awesome Patreon supporters. If you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, you can definitely go down in the links and find out a little bit more about that in the description. There are some links where you can find out a little bit more about the Patreon and just ways you can support the channel. And these is a list of all of the awesome Patreon supporters that we have here on the channel. So yeah, if you want to donate as little as $1, or there are links where you can send direct donations, or you can even send super chats and things like that as well. I do greatly appreciate all of your guys' support. Now, moving on. I was talking about something else I wanted to talk about was we don't really know a whole lot about Black Widow's past. There has been, I've seen some recent theories going on out there, people talking about how in Captain America Civil War, she actually made mention, Natasha Romanoff, when she was talking to Steve there at Peggy's funeral, that she went to Russia in search of her parents, in search of her past, looking to find out who it was, and all she found was a couple of headstones, tossed behind a fence and some leaves and everything. She kind of cleaned it up a little bit, right? Well, the thing is right here she says that she has two, she has the two parents, and at some other point, we learn in Avengers Endgame that Red Skull, when they were there on Vormir, actually tells her that she is Ivan. She is Natasha Romanoff, the daughter of Ivan, which she really don't know anything about that as well. She was kind of like, huh? And because she sits down with Hawkeye while she's there, and she goes, "Even I didn't know that." You know what I mean? So very interesting things, that people are kind of looking at here, which I think all kind of play into something here. Some stuff that I was reading up on in this comic book. When I picked up, I want to say it had to have been sometime last year. I'm guessing this Marvel Tales Black Widow, and what it does is it has it's just like a little anthology series, has a little collection of some of these different comic books that are out there, some of the Black Widow's history. And there's some very interesting things here that I was finding and kind of learning about. And that's what kind of made me wonder about Black Widow's parents and exactly what's going on here in this movie for us to look at just a little bit more. One of the things, like I said, she found the 2 headstones. She found out her father's name was Ivan. But is it? Is it? I don't know. It's really hard to say. And who is Ivan anyway? Who is Ivan? Well, I'm finding that there are different things within this book. There are different things for why that I'm coming to this conclusion, and it makes me kind of wonder. We see in the Rachel Weisz's character is being listed as, her name is being Melina Vostokoff, who is Iron Maiden in the comic books. And of course now we know the movies don't exactly follow the comic books, so it's kind of making me wonder a little bit about that. Because Iron Maiden was an enemy of the Black Widow, as she went through the Red Room training as well, and was kind of overshadowed by Natasha Romanoff, who was essentially the Red Room's best recruit ever. She was the best at fighting, the best at her spying, just the best at everything. She was hands down their star pupil there. Okay, and that's something that was even made mention in the Black Widow Prelude comic book. So, just some interesting things going on there with that. But then also, just digging through this comic book, learning a little bit about her past. We see some of her relations with Tony Stark when she first came in. How she was actually sent to Tony Stark to kind of spy on a lot of his a lot of his technology and stuff like that he was doing, try to get trade secrets, if you will. And that's kind of the same thing that we found in Iron Man 2 when she was first brought in. She was kind of brought in as a spy to, kind of see. She was there when basically Tony Stark handed off his company to Pepper Potts. Wookiee Supremacy says, "Got a bell. Take it easy, man. Take it easy, Wookiee. Thank you for being here. I'm guessing your girlfriend is probably live streaming right now, right?" It's all good. And Fenrir Fire, thank you so much for being here. Greatly appreciate that as well. And here, in this comic book, we learn a little bit more about Natasha Romanoff here and the Black Widow, and how she first came into Shield, and this is Nick Fury here telling the story about how she fell in love with Clint Barton. Right here, he's talking about. She's saying, I was given powers, to challenge to be a challenge to Iron Man. But then came my undoing the day I met Hawkeye. Though we both knew our romance was hopeless from the start, fate had turned 2 enemies into star-crossed lovers. And so, some interesting things here. And then she says, then in an effort to escape, to lose my heartbreak, in the seething whirlpool of adventure, I served the Avengers and the dedicated agents of Nick Fury's Shield. And she goes, how could I have known, how could I have suspected that my efforts would contribute to the death of the Red Guardian? Okay, so, to me, I think we all kind of knew that Red Guardian was going to die in this movie, being played by David Harbour. But, here's the thing is, the Red Guardian in the comic books was actually her husband, was actually the husband of Natasha Romanoff. Okay, so which is very interesting. So we can obviously see in the Black Widow movie here, Red Guardian is an older version. He's just an older person compared to the Black Widow that we are getting in the movie, compared to Natasha Romanoff. So, it makes me kind of wonder if Melina is is or was married to the love interest here of the Red Guardian in this particular sense, because we know the MCU always kind of changes things up. Which also made me kind of wonder, is it possible that they are her parents? The Red Guardian and Melina are her parents in this movie? Because something else we learn here in this comic book, she makes mention that she was actually when she was actually taken from her parents into the red room for the training, and she basically never saw her parents again. There was basically some rumors out there surrounding that. Let me see if I can find that here in this book. Because another thing that they brought up here was when she was. Let me see here. See if I can find this here for you. Right here. Okay, they're talking about her. And here's the thing: is when they say that Red Skull was saying that she is the daughter of Ivan. Well, right here there's this story talking about Ivan, and who we don't exactly know here. Saying Ivan Petrovich is his name here in the comic book. Saying, all right, I'll give you some background. It all began during the siege of Stalingrad. In World War II. Once one of the survivors, Ivan Petrovich, was searching for a sister he never found. The whole blamed city was in shambles. Anybody that stayed if they didn't have to was nuts. But this Ivan guy, he wouldn't quit for nothing, just plain stubborn. Somehow through all of the noise, he heard a woman screaming at him from the balcony. She was holding a kid. He rushed over, and just as the whole thing caught fire, the kid was dropped into his arms. As if I'd had to tell you, that little girl was Natasha Romanoff, later to get the moniker Black Widow. But then she was just a scared little babe watching her life go up in flames and helpless to do anything about it. And that's pretty much what's going on right here through these panels, is that she was basically, her there in Stalingrad during World War II, and was thrown from this balcony into Ivan Petrovich's arms, and he basically raised her as his own. And she was really great in combat. She was very smart in school, and that's where she ended up meeting Alexi. Okay, now. Alexi is the Red Guardian, and she had actually thought that he went up into space to be part of the Russian space program. That he went up there into space, and she supposedly she thought he had died when he wasn't even on the ship that had exploded, and she thought that he had died, and so naturally she was that was used leveraged against her to partially become for her to become the Black Widow. So again, just some very interesting things here, but it's funny because they actually make mention here a little bit later on in this same story, in this chapter 2, about her parents as well. So let's see. We got Rosetta Allen. Thank you so much for being here. Chaos and Comics. Thank you so much for being here. And in case you guys missed it, on Saturday, I got together with Chris over here at Chaos and Comics and Dylan from Dylan's Comic Book Rants, and we're probably going to start doing a Saturday morning streaming thing where we're going to be talking about some comic books, and we did that on Saturday, and you guys can check the video out here on the channel. So then we're here learning a little bit more about Natasha Romanoff. Nick Fury is sitting here telling the story, saying, on one mission she ran into the circus archer turned superhero named Hawkeye. Right away he fell for her in a big way, and she used the poor sap to help her steal from Stark. Which, I don't know, I guess she didn't really steal anything in the MCU, so just kind of some of the stories going on here. And he's saying she was dragged back to Russia and told she better start serving the state again, or else her parents were going to be tortured. And it's saying right here, Natasha's parents survived the Stalingrad siege, but were kept from their daughter while the Soviet state raised her. And that's taking place right here. So in the matter of these two stories, we're getting a couple of different backgrounds on exactly some of her background here. So it's really hard to say exactly what her background is, even according to this. So we can see that he's saying that she was basically brainwashed by the Red Room once again to serve the Red Room, and then she eventually came on to fight Hawkeye a little bit more. And then, in the middle of all this battle, she ended up learning that Alexi was still alive. Okay, so Alexi didn't actually die, and there's just a whole lot of crazy things going on here that just make me want to wonder what's going on with a lot of these characters coming up in this movie. Because, like I said, in the comic book, she was married to this Alexi, who is the Red Guardian, and obviously, we see there's an age difference. But could that really be a thing? Could that really be a thing? Vlad Riot says, got to run later, 2nd Street Marvel. Well, you have a good day, Vlad Riot. Thank you for being here. Black Angus Reviews says, your voice is soothing in traffic. Well, thank you. Thank you, Black Angus Reviews. I'll do my best to keep it even more smooth just for you. But, yeah, so, oh man, I think I got some gains turned up a little bit too high here. You guys can probably hear every little smack on my lips and everything there. Okay, and then always please let me know if the volume gets too low or anything like that. I try to keep it at a reasonable rate where it's not blowing out your speakers or anything, or clipping me out either. So yeah, some very interesting things here. Obviously, I don't think she's going to be have been married to Alexi here in the books, but that makes me wonder if Rachel Weisz's character is actually the one who was in love with him, with the Red Guardian, and did their thing. Because we can see just in the trailers, it seems like they kind of have a working relationship. We also see Yelena Belova and Natasha calling each other sisters. Now, I don't think they're actual sisters. I think that perhaps, they were sisters in the Red Room in their training and things like that. Which brings us to even more interesting stuff that was in this comic book as well. Because there's this other story here called Red Widow First Strike. Now, I haven't really looked into this Red Widow First Strike story either, aside from what was in this book. But it looks like there was somebody else coming in to be the Red Widow that has all this like the similar training and everything as Black Widow. And here's the interesting thing: is we get here at the very end of the book, we get this revelation of the Red Widow, and look at what she's wearing. I mean, that suit sure looks an awful lot like, a play on the Black Widow suit, kind of what we get out of the previews, for this movie so far. So this version of this Red Widow is somebody else that looks like they have like the same kind of training and things as the Black Widow does, but it seems like she has these memories of things that had happened to her, like memories of Black Widow, but not exactly. Just some really weird things going on here. So that makes me think that, I've talked a lot about how Red Widow or Black Widow has recently been reborn in the comic books as a clone with implanted memories, and I'm wondering if they're going somewhere with that in this movie as well. Now, does that mean that what would they do? Where would they get these memories from? Where would they download her memories, if you will, and get them into a computer or something? Well, we've seen that same kind of technology that was actually used by. Why all of a sudden did I forget his name? You guys know who I'm talking about. Yeah, the Mr. Exactly. Why am I forgetting his name? The Russian, actually he wasn't even. I can't even remember. He wasn't even German. What was he? Swiss. The Swiss scientist that was brought in. You guys know who I'm talking about. The one that Tony Stark has been riding his coattails the whole time. He's played by Toby. Oh man, I'm terrible. I'm the worst here. I all of a sudden can't remember his name. That was there, he was working. Oh man, why am I gonna have to look this up? he's played by Toby Jones. I know that. Yeah, Arnim Zola. How could I not remember Dr. Zola's name? We've seen that Arnim Zola had actually already downloaded his memories and things into a memory bank and had transferred those into a computer. So we know stuff like this is possible. But he's also been very groundbreaking. And one of the things that they were talking about in these comic books as well was that Natasha Romanoff had been taken back to the Red Room and re-brainwashed to go back to work for the Red Room. Now, they already have this technology. They used the same thing on Bucky, where they kind of lobotomized him to keep him in check and to basically program him. So, a lot of that, I think will play into this, because we see that this is all technology that Arnim Zola has kind of been on the forefront in making all these breakthroughs, and he was working with obviously the Russians and even with not Shield, but basically Shield, but working with Hydra the whole time before he came to Shield and started getting Hydra into Shield as well. So this is all stuff that he has been doing kind of the whole time, and basically everything in the MCU all piggybacks off of the Arnim Zola's hard work, aside for Captain America. He got that super soldier serum from Dr. Erskine. I guess that's the only thing, but at this point, I'm wondering if even Dr. Erskine stole that serum from. I'm wondering if he stole that from Dr. Zola as well. Eric Rigsby, thank you so much for being here. Says, I had the day off and my son Landon and I are here eating breakfast and watching the stream. We are both excited for the Black Widow movie. Absolutely, me too, man. I can't wait to see it. Like I said, there's a whole lot going on here. Everybody keeps thinking that this movie is going to be taking place in the past. I think some of it will be taking place in the past in those events before Infinity War and Endgame. But largely, I think some of it is going to spill into the current time in the MCU. And I don't know. That's just if you ask me. Fanjector says Tony never wrote any coattails. Guess that's why you can't. Guess that's why you can't think of anyone. He did ride coattails. That's all he did. The only thing that Stark has invented was his repulsor technology and the Iron Man suit. That's all he invented. Everything else was Arnim Zola's. Go back. Look up here on YouTube. Search hashtag the Stark Sham. I did a whole video about this. That new element that he created, it was actually created by Arnim Zola clear back in the 40s. His father couldn't recreate it, and Tony Stark was able to, but that was all Arnim Zola. He also created, like I was saying, he created this machine that kind of lobotomized the people as well in a lot of the things he was doing. Like I'm telling you, it's all Arnim Zola. If it wasn't... Arnim Zola is the godfather of the MCU. You know what? Forget Kevin Feige. It's all about Arnim Zola. I'm willing to even bet you that nanobots and all that stuff, I'm willing to bet you that even Arnim Zola created those as well. I'm willing to bet. So yeah, like I was saying, just very interesting things going on here that we see. We got these different versions of Black Widow. Obviously, we know that they have the Black Widow program. That was that they kind of enacted. Black Widow is more of a moniker than it is an actual name, because different people have taken on this moniker. So it's not like I guess it's like that James Bond 007, right? You know what I mean? Anybody can have that name, that title, that designation. It's not a name; it's just a title, right? Right? Don't get mad at me. Don't leave me dislikes, guys. Come on. But seriously, the such disrespect. Yes, no. I mean, I'm telling you, Tony Stark is a sham. The Starks are a sham. I'm telling you, they steal everybody else's technology. But seriously though, there's just so much things going on with this movie when it comes to Black Widow. She has this past that we don't know a whole lot about. I've even actually been hypothesizing that she actually has something to do with the Falcon basically becoming the Falcon and him losing his partner Riley, which, like I was saying before too, it made me wonder if Riley, when he got shot out of the air, maybe he didn't die. Maybe they actually took Riley into the Red Room. Maybe they gave him some training. Maybe this O.T. Fabergale, I don't know, this guy that everybody is suspecting that's going to be playing Taskmaster. It makes me wonder if Taskmaster was actually Riley in the MCU. and if Black Widow had something to do with that, because she had made mention in in Captain America Winter Soldier where she was there in Iran, the same around the same time in the Middle East, the same time that they would have been there for that mission, the Khalid Kandil mission, when Riley got shot out of the air. Who's to say that maybe they didn't actually, maybe they weren't after this, maybe they were actually after the same intel during that thing, and maybe that's maybe she and some of the other Black Widow operatives, some of the operatives from the Red Room, were actually there shooting those RPGs to keep the helicopters from being able to get in and out of there, and maybe Sam Wilson was actually able to get his mission accomplished while losing his friend Riley, and maybe his friend Riley ended up getting pulled into the Red Room and getting brainwashed and trained in the ways to end up serving Hydra and the Red Room. I don't know. It could be wrong. Although, in the pictures, it wasn't the same guy that was in the pictures that was playing Riley. So they'd obviously have to retcon that or something like that. And I don't know. I could be wrong there, but I'm sure they lost plenty of other people's lives and other operatives there in the during the middle of all of that as well. Stu Juicy says, "What's up, man? I have a theory who Taskmaster is. Who is it? Feel free to leave that down in the comments below, Stu Jersey. Go ahead and let it be known. And if I use that in any of my theories or any of my videos, I will make sure that I give you credit as well, Stu Jersey. So, yeah, you're perfectly safe here, dude. I won't steal your stuff. LB from the Lonely Banter says, "I am here." Thank you so much for being here, LB. And again, tomorrow morning, LB will be here on the channel with me to discuss Bad Boys for Life. Like I said, I got a review that will be dropping here on the channel later today that you'll be able to watch, and be prepared for tomorrow morning when me and LB get together and we talk about that, and we talk about Bad Boys for Life. Marquise Roberts says, "Is it true that Black Widow kills and eats everyone who samples the venom that venomous?" If so, I'm so excited for the film. Biden Touch, thank you so much for being here. No, not that I know of. And as a matter of fact, I'm sure from what we've been getting from the Marvel push lately and some of the writers and producers of this film, she's not actually going to kill anybody. She don't kill people. She just brings people to justice. Which is very interesting. Very interesting. At some point, you gotta, there's gotta be, real justice. Is real justice actually, people having to die for their transgressions? I don't think so in all cases, and we could, that's a conversation we could go into all kinds, like death doesn't necessarily bring not any real justice, because an injustice has already been done. You know what I mean? So there really is no correcting that in a lot of things that probably need to have justice brought to them. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, but that's a debate we could get into all day. Now, Marquise Roberts is here. One thing I wanted to say, Marquise, was, you know what? Last night I started to watch that Ninjak versus the Valiant universe. I've got to tell you, I started watching it, and it was pretty good. It seemed like it was one of those, I'm not sure was that a TV show that they had done or something? It was done a little bit, obviously with a lower budget, a more modest budget, but I've got to say, I mean, with everything they had for like a TV type of budget, it actually looks pretty decent. The only thing I want to say is, man, I didn't know Roku had been around for so long, because it looks like this show had come out over a year ago, and the Roku series is just now being written in her solo series being written in the Valiant universe. So I'm guessing you would know a little bit more about that, Marquise. Was she, obviously she was part of this larger universe before and just now getting her solo series? If so, hey, that's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, we got introduced to Ninjak there during that. Seen Roku. Who else did I see in there? Man, I want to say was the Exo Man of War character, was he in there as well? Was he in there? Like, I thought I'd seen maybe a character that looked somewhat like him there on the screen. So I don't know. Just but I thought it was pretty interesting. Marquise Roberts says, "Lonely Banter, you still the bro, but I don't agree with the Eminem review." I still have to go back and watch that. I seen LB got ratioed pretty hard on that, and I've been seeing some of his posts on that. Yeah, I still need to go back and watch that, man. That's hilarious. People are so funny, man. People are so triggered. But I guess, that's kind of what we do as content creators. You got to make videos, and we're not out to trigger people and get people upset. But, obviously, no matter what it is, when you have an opinion, everybody's got one, right? Just like buttholes, everybody's got one. People get so triggered by it. It's like, oh my god, you don't know nothing about music. You don't know Eminem. You don't like Eminem. You must be the stupidest person ever. Like, calm down, bro. You sound like one of those MCU stands, or one of those Chris Evans stands, or one of those weirdies out there who gets in fights over things like Star Wars on the internets. Like you're a weirdo, bro. Like, Eminem's okay. Eminem's okay. I stopped paying attention to him when he started crying on his albums. That's pretty much when I stopped. And not that I have any problem with crying, but that's kind of when he lost a lot of his edge. Let's admit it. I'm not saying he's not a great rapper or anything, but hey, I'm not a huge fan. I mean, like I said, I was back for like the first 3 albums or so. But that's funny though. Let's see. I'm misguided. Thank you so much for being here. Marquise Roberts says, I can die happy now, Trinity. Well, not yet, because I still haven't watched it all, and I still haven't reviewed it yet. But I will, because it was pretty interesting. I want to check out more of it. And the thing is like I said, Valiant is they're a small. Bloodshot was in there too. Bloodshot was in there too? I'm pretty sure. They did this show with a modest budget, and just from what I've seen in the trailer so far, I mean, I caught like easily the first 15 minutes of it or so. It was actually pretty good. Actually, handled pretty well. Now the thing is really comes down to it in a show like that, in any of these TV shows, is the money for a budget for visual effects. And I feel that's one of the things that this TV show this show kind of suffered from. But again, like, I'm not going to hold it against them for that, because it seemed largely pretty interesting so far, and got to see Roku kick some ass. And I want to. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the young lady playing Roku is great, but after seeing that, after that comic book that I got, man, like, when I think about it, like, if I want to see Roku on screen, I want to see that. You know what I'm saying? That's. I mean, yeah, that's. I don't know. That's. I know. I'm probably being a toxic male right now, but that's what I want to see. Dang it. Oh man. I Am True Skill says, I'm hitting Comic-Con San Diego this year. You going to be there? You know what? Honestly, I Am True Skills, I would love to. I'm not sure that I can afford to go to Comic-Con, the San Diego Comic-Con. Because from what I heard, it's quite expensive, and tickets are very expensive. And are tickets even still available? Because I know it's like one of those things you got to plan early, you got to get tickets early, and all that kind of stuff. I would love to go to San Diego Comic Con though, because I've only been to one Comic Con, and that was LA Comic Con here just back in the middle of October. It was a great time. Gotta just go there and nerd out. I was dressed up. Me and my kids, we were all dressed up, and yeah, it was a good time. And I actually did a video about that you can find here on the channel from when we went to LA Comic Con. But I would like to. I'll see if we can. I'll see if I can make it there. Stu Jersey X says, what if there's an actual Taskmaster who sends people in his place as the Taskmaster, and the one in this film is a girl who trained with Black Widow. When she fails, the real Taskmaster steps in. Oh, absolutely. That's a good. I like that theory, Stu Jersey X, and part of the reason I like that theory too is something that we actually even seen done with the Mandarin, in the MCU as well. We seen the Mandarin who is essentially played by Ben Kingsley, but it wasn't really him, it was a fake, and then it makes you think that the real him was not Hammer, but God, why all of a sudden did I forget his name? That was in charge of AIM, Guy Pearce's character. Man, why all of a sudden did I forget his name? But yeah, we seen, then essentially, he was Mandarin. But then, was even he Mandarin? Was he being controlled by somebody else out there? Was he just a face? And then we seen, they did that. They did that little one shot later. We're saying, hey, Mandarin was upset that you're out there impersonating. I kind of have a feeling that the Mandarin probably puts other people, prominent people that can garner attention and things out there, in front of people to basically say, hey, yeah, that's Mandarin right there. It's not me. I don't know what you're talking about. But I think that's a very good theory there, Stu Jersey X, because I do think that perhaps who we're gonna meet in this movie is obviously a Red Room trained person, but I actually wonder if it's either they are Red Room trained or if this Taskmaster was actually the person training the people in the Red Room. That's kind of what I'm wondering as well. I think it could very well be onto something there, for sure, for sure. Lonely Banter says, "Good morning, Fan Gesture, Marquise, and Biden." Marquise Roberts says, "Valiant cast. Bloodshot, Shadow Man, Archer, and Armstrong, Livewire, and the Eternal Warrior." Oh yeah, that's who else I see. I know for sure I've seen Livewire in that TV show as well. I definitely want to get back to watch that because it was pretty good. Like I said, I'm not really into the TV show thing, and I'm not sure, was that a TV show or was that just like a mini movie that they did? I'm not really for sure because I think it was like a little over an hour, like an hour and 13 minutes, which not bad for them wanting to go out there and do something like that. So yeah, definitely want to get back on there and check that. He says, "Got to get back to driving in this snow, y'all. Heading from Iowa City to Davenport, then St. Petersburg or St. Peter, Minnesota." With this load. All right, man. Drive safe, Marquise Roberts. You don't have to be out there responding. If you're out there driving, man, just keep it tuned in here, and you can listen in to my beautiful voice. A Dude Review says, "I heard a rumor that Christian Bale might be playing Norman Osborn." I've heard those rumors too. That's very interesting. Although I think the original rumor was that Christian Bale was coming in to be in the cast of Thor: Love and Thunder, and that could very well be. I mean, he could be. They could be bringing that character. They could be bringing Norman Osborn in through Thor: Love and Thunder. Certainly. I think he would be great at that. He would be a great Norman Osborn because he would be playing Norman Osborn. He'd be playing a villain, and I think that in itself makes him not have to commit to a long-term contract. Because in that case, he might be in the one movie plus maybe another one in like a smaller cameo role. Because the one thing that I believe is like Christian Bale, while he is a great actor, it seems like most of the seasoned talent they get for these movies, like we got Cate Blanchett, we got Guy Pearce, we've got and Anthony Hopkins was one of the exceptions. But a lot of these bigger names in Hollywood, when they come into these movies, they seem to only play a movie role that is usually a villain and only in one role. And I know there was some other people here in my chats the other day when we were talking about that, saying that, hey, maybe he's going to play Gore the God Butcher, another version of Thor. And I'm like, that's very interesting. And after looking into it, I'm kind of like, he very well could be. Maybe he is going to play this other, basically opposite of Thor. And if I'm not mistaken, is that the character that was like Odin's brother or something like that came back and was upset because like Thor let Odin die or something like that. I could be wrong there. I have to go and research that a little bit more because I'm admittedly not like a huge fan of like the Thor stuff. Not really up on my Thor lore. But I do believe that could very well be where he comes into, because we also, people were thinking Beta Ray Bill. But I think if they're going to do Beta Ray Bill, they're going to get somebody younger that could carry on to be Beta Ray Bill in more than one movie. And I just don't see Christian Bale signing on to do more than one film. He could, though. He very well could. So, yeah, very, very interesting, though. I mean, and he would be a great Norman Osborn. He would. I mean, he'd be right up there with Willem Dafoe as far as Norman Osborn castings, man. Because I think Willem Dafoe was well cast as Norman Osborn in the original Sam Raimi trilogy of Spider-Man movies. Yeah, that was just great. But Christian Bale being Norman Osborn, I think that would work. I think that would work very good. Biden Touch says, "That cover makes me horny for justice." Oh, yes. Yeah, we're talking about Roku there, obviously. Yeah, you can see that she got, like I was saying the other day, she Fonda don't have a motor in the back of her Honda, but she got Fonda and a Honda in her, I don't know. You know what I'm saying. Comic Man Andy, what's going on? How are you doing this morning? Hope you're doing well, my brother. I'm True Skill says, "I go to the New York Comic Con every year. I have footage on my channel." Nice. I'll have to check that out. And I was going through your channel the other day, checking out some videos and stuff. So I'll have to go back there and check that out. Aggressively Relaxing, thank you so much for being here. Aggressively, I've got to get that. I've got to get that clip to you. Got to get that clip to you. I was working on it a little bit yesterday, and I just wasn't satisfied with what I was doing. Dylan's comic book rants. Hello, my brother. How are you doing? Like I said, guys, me, Dylan, and Chaos and Comics got together on Saturday, and we'll probably try to make that show a regular thing on Saturdays, where we just get together and talk some comic books. I mean, we got great supporters out there, great people out there in the comic book community, like Rod the Rican. We got Perry Comics. We've also got Edwin the Comic Jabroni and John's Comic with Kids. They all get together, and they are the Four Horsemen, and they get together, about once a week, and they do some little shows together, and it's always a good time. So we were like, you know what, I got together with Dylan, I got together with Chris, and I'm like, we need to start something similar like that, like. Not to compete. I mean, hey, we're all just talking about comic books, but something similar. So we, to start our own show like that. And then, so we got together, and we're thinking that we'll have the three core of us, and then maybe we'll occasionally bring in a guest as a fourth person on the panel. And we'll probably try to do that regularly on Saturdays. And we'll probably rotate channels as to who's going to be hosting that, so we can kind of get a little bit of love everywhere. So I don't know, something that should be fun as we're going here forward. And you guys can, like I said, you can go check out that video. I did it here on Saturday. We did that live stream. It was a good time, and I think we kept it about 90 minutes. I want to try to keep a lot of my live streams a little bit shorter, so they're rewatchable, because you go and you see like a 2-hour, 3-hour, 4-hour live stream, all these things, like nobody's trying to watch all that again. You know what I mean? Like the core audience is there while it's happening. Like, I don't know. It can be a little much. Snowdub Music and Entertainment, what's up, my brothers? How are you doing? Jenner Check, or he says Yenner Check. Oh man, part of the Cotton Connection. You guys should make sure that you go check out Snowdub. They do Saturday. They did the Ribbit and Bigot show. It was a triumphant return after they had, I don't know, I think like a 1 or 2 week hiatus. Always good stuff to be there watching that show. Ken Mack says, at 2nd Street Marvel, good morning, my brother. Glad you're on this morning, and I caught you in time. Well, thank you so much for being here, Ken. I do greatly appreciate the support. A Dude Review says, the mirror scene in the OG Spider-Man film with Willem Dafoe is classic. Oh, hell yeah. And I'm telling you, Willem Dafoe just, all those expressions that he can make, because he's got all that, I want to say like loose skin, because it's not like, but just like the way his face contorts and everything, he can get such great expressions on his face. And that was, God, what was that movie one of the first movies I remember ever seeing him in when he was younger. I want to say it was kind of like The Warriors or something like that. But remember, he had that whole rockabilly hairdo. It was all done up, and man, what was the name of that movie? I can't remember the name of it, but I remember seeing that when I was a kid, thinking, "Oh, dude, this guy is great." And he's like, I don't know, for one, he's a really great actor in the first place, man. But then, he's got one of those faces that's just made to be on camera, making all these different faces and things, man. He's just great at it, and that scene where he's there in the mirror is an absolute classic, and really, to me, was something core to that character and the comic books that I remember reading when I was a kid, was Spider-Man. Just kind of that like crazy guy who had those multiple personalities and talking to himself. And honestly, to be quite honest with you, James Franco being cast as his son was like was perfect as well, because I think James Franco has those same kind of those same kind of abilities, and he has that same kind of look that Willem Dafoe does, where he can get a lot of those same kind of expressions. He also has those deep, like when he smiles, those deep, I don't know, whatever you would call those, just a lot of just those great things that play really well on camera when making expressions and stuff. Absolutely. Fanjecture says, Beta Ray Bill will probably be CGI, so it won't necessarily matter how old the actor doing the voiceover is. That's true, but I think they may have him turn into like his, not his human form, because he's not human, but his other form, to where he's not always looking looking like the horse. So I think they will transition between some of those different looks. So I mean, I agree with you, but at the same time, I think Beta Ray Bill is going to be a character that's going to be longer lasting in the MCU when they bring him in, and I just do not see Christian Bale signing on for one of those longer contracts. Just like I've said about Natalie Portman in Thor: Love and Thunder, a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, they're gonna make a trilogy of Jane Foster Thor and all this stuff." And guys, this is Natalie Portman we're talking about. It's not like she's old or anything, but she's not really big into these movies. Sure, Marvel money talks and bullshit walks, but I just don't see her signing on to do this a long term contract with Marvel, like doing 2, 3 pictures. I just don't see it happening. I think at this point it's bad enough that she's been in like what 3 of them now. You know what I mean? It will be 3 movies. I just don't see her coming in to play a big role. So all those people out there that are upset, like Jane Foster, Thor, whammy, all like just just calm down, people. Just calm down. Taika Waititi has been out there trolling people as well. Got like, dude, just don't even worry about it. Natalie Portman's not going to be around long term for the MCU. Let alone, I don't think that Jane Foster Thor is going to be as well. But if things happen the way I'm guessing, it won't matter anyway. Where they'll be able to replace a lot of these actors and characters in the MCU anyway. And that all has to do with my theories about Captain Marvel Civil War 2, about Secret Empire, and even really just to do with even the Skrull invasion as well. Even if they did that, the Secret Invasion storyline, it could all kind of play into it. So, I don't know. Zen World, thank you so much for being here. Says, what's up, community? Aggressively Relaxed says, no worries. I am working on 3 episodes right now, trying to finish my Biggie Shaq rap song and making an 80s cruise commercial. Nice. Can't wait to see that. If you guys haven't subscribed to Aggressively Relaxing, I'm telling you, you guys got to go check out his channel. He does just like some hilarious videos. Like, I wish I was as creative and as an inventive and could present my videos and things as well as Aggressively Relaxing does, because he's great at what he does. Julie, thank you so much for being here. Wished upon a vlog. Dylan's Comic Book Rant says Platoon. No, it wasn't Platoon. God, I can't remember what the name of that show, that movie that Willem Dafoe was in. It was he was. It's definitely one of his older ones. I can. Willem Dafoe. We can go check out his filmography here. It was an older one though. It was an old one. I mean, not like super old, but it would have probably been around the time of maybe a little bit before Platoon. God, was it this one? No, it's not The Loveless. I don't think it's The Loveless. Hunger, Shacking Up, Roadhouse 66, Streets of Fire. That has to be it. Has to be Streets of Fire. When he was in that. Yeah. A mercenary is hired to rescue his ex-girlfriend, a singer who had been kidnapped by a motorcycle gang. Yeah, that's it. Streets of Fire is what it was. He just has that. I don't know. He just has a look, man. He's just such a great actor. A dude of review says, I honestly don't think Natalie Portman is a good actress. And that's fine. I think Natalie Portman is a great actress. Just again, a lot of it comes down to what movies a person is cast in, and to what level their abilities are utilized. Because I mean, take a look at like Gal Gadot and look at Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is a great movie. It's a good movie. But Gal Gadot is not a good actress. She's not even a good actress, let alone a great actress. But Patty Jenkins came in and played to all of her strengths and did a really good job making that movie. Because by all means, like, Gal Gadot is not a good actress. She's just a beautiful actress, and but like I said, I think she just was able to. Her strength showed. Any strengths that she had was showed on screen when in that movie. Ken Max says, and you're frozen. Am I frozen? Am I dropping frames here? Because my stream here is looking good so far. It looks, yeah, oh man, I don't know. And stream health and everything is saying that it's doing pretty good. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's your connection possibly. I don't know. I was noticing that too the other day. Like I seen somebody's thing. They were doing the same thing. Like, hey, my stream seems like it's doing fine, but theirs kept freezing. I'm like, was it my internet? Nah, I don't know. Wish Upon a Vlog says, looks like I came in at a funny time. Aggressively Relaxing says, my movie Bob says he wants Adam Sandler as a CGI voice role in the MCU, and it's a great idea. Honestly, I mean, Adam Sandler being in the MCU doesn't sound like a bad idea at all altogether. I think he'd be great. Brendan says, whammin'. And it looks like Biden is asking me to go run with him for office in 2020. Wish Upon a Vlog says, I will listen to your stream while I do some computer stuff. Awesome. Thank you so much. Wish Upon a Vlog says, #free. What you do wrong now, Trinity? I don't know. Probably a whole lot. Probably a whole lot. It says Snowdub, you still on? Where is my snow? And Trinity, I love Natalie Portman. I really want to cosplay as her. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I like Natalie Portman. I think she's a good actress. Now, like I said, I mean, is she in some not great movies? Yeah, absolutely. But I think that's just kind of an actor's journey. You got to get roles as an actor, and not everything you're going to be in is great. And certainly, you can go back and see, like, we've seen movies that come out with the star-studded cast, that has all these great people in it, and you watch the movie and you're like, what the hell happened in this movie? You had everything. You had what sounded like an interesting story. You had great actors for it, and what happened here? I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, guys, that's we're already here setting out about an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Like I said, guys, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure that you have your notifications turned on, because later today I will be dropping my review for Bad Boys for Life. It will be here on the channel live, and then tomorrow morning on tomorrow's morning movie chat, we're going to have LB from the Lonely Banter on, and we're going to talk a little bit more about Bad Boys for Life. But that's all I have for today's video. Thank you all so much for tuning into the Second Street Marvel and the Morning Movie Chat. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe. Click the little bell and all of that good stuff. Make sure you give this video a like or a dislike. It's all good. I don't take it personal. But while you're at it, make sure that you share it with a friend and invite them to come hang out with us here on the Second Street Marvel. You all have a very good day. Have a great rest of your week. Go out and watch Bad Boys for Life, and we'll see you tomorrow in the next live stream. Later.